Hey everyone, we're back. Joe and Mike from BuildAssetsOnline.com. Today we're going to be talking about the things you can do to build your dropshipping business while this quarantine thing is going on. You're stuck in your house. There's going to be some things you can't do, but there's going to be some things you can do. So, do you want to talk about real quick the things that are probably going to be kind of difficult in this time? A lot of suppliers. It's going to be hard to acquire a lot of suppliers right now, unfortunately. Don't you think,
Yeah,
Mike?
and I don't want to. Yeah, I agree. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Am I speaking? Okay. I agree. It's not the best time to get suppliers because warehouses are like literally closing right now. But it actually hasn't been a bad month for us in terms of sales. Um, we're doing pretty well. So this is not a panic mode. Dropshipping is dead. It's only going to come back from here after this quarantine period goes away. If it's, another 2 weeks, a month, whatever. So I'm very satisfied with the sales we have this month.
Yeah.
But things that you can do, don't call suppliers, but you can get started. And we'll
Yeah.
talk about the things you should be doing right now if you
So,
are
yeah.
still working on creating a dropshipping store.
So the number
Should
one
I
thing I have on the
enumerate?
list. Oh,
Okay, you say it. You do it. You do it. You're good at
all
that.
right. I'm gonna
You're
do
good at
it.
that.
So the number one thing I have on the list is write content. Now is a great time if you have some extra time on your hands. Sit down and create some content for your dropshipping store. Create some blog posts. Even if maybe you don't have the suppliers like fully locked in yet, maybe you've talked to them and it's kind of stringing along, it's still a great time to create content. And that's because if that content gets traffic down the line, and it's going to need time to get traffic anyway. It's going to need a good 3 to 6 months, maybe a little less, but sometimes a little more. It's going to need that time for the organic visitors to start rolling in. And when they do, you can actually use that as leverage to get future suppliers, because if you're getting traffic in an industry and you go to the supplier and you're like, hey, I'm already getting 500 visits a month in this industry for these keywords and stuff like that, then they're going to be like, whoa, I don't want to miss out on that opportunity. So
Yeah,
I,
that's really one of the best forms of leverage. And we talk about how getting other suppliers is a form of leverage for getting, a different supplier that you want. Writing blog posts for the supplier you want and having those get traffic, there's really nothing better that you can do because you're already an asset to them.
yeah,
And so all the cards are in your hands.
exactly,
Set
exactly.
yourself up for that.
Yeah. And listen, it's if you haven't written a blog post before, ultimately you should be hiring writers to do it. But if you don't have a lot of money and you're stuck at home, there's nothing wrong with writing a blog post. I think it helps actually when you hire a writer to get to know what to look for and kind of see what mistakes they're making. So there's really no better way than to get in there and do that yourself for the sake of learning. The other thing is that you can develop your systems. Now, even if you don't have any sales coming in, there are things you can still, number one, if you do, you can still find people to hire online. Number two, you can start to map out maybe just on a piece of paper or in a spreadsheet, like how your system is going to look. Maybe you want to have this person on live chat and you're going to pay them $3 an hour. And they're going to also handle this, and this. And you can even be running some interviews right now. You can go put an ad on Manila Craigslist, go find some really solid people from the Philippines, and yeah, you can. There's a lot you can be doing on that end. Any comments on the systems thing?
Mhm. Yeah, I can imagine people would probably be scared to hire at this point if they're not making a lot of sales or their sales have gone down in this situation. But it's still a time where you can use your free time if you're not, going to be taking calls and dealing with the normal day to day. You can be, like Joe said, mapping out what your roles are going to look like because it's a lot more fluid than you think it has to be. Like there's, you think about applying to a job and you're going to be doing this position and you're going to have these roles. Like the, it's not a real thing. Do you, do you know what I'm saying, Joe? Like
Yeah,
the company decides what a position is, what it's called, and exactly what you're going to do in it. and you actually have the power to do the same thing. And so like within um our stores and our kind of company, I guess you can call it, you know, the tasks that each of our employees perform, it's sort of a random mishmash that I've catered to each of their strong suits. Or, I hire one employee. I see what they're good at, and now I know what other things I need to fill. So James
Yeah.
Schramko has talked about this. It's like you can really be fluid in how you create roles. So you can have someone that does live chat, and meanwhile they input trackings or they're doing product uploads.
Yeah.
So there's so many holes in your business that you can fill with an employee, especially one that's overseas, and you can leverage that. That you can make up tasks for them to do. It doesn't have to be some sort of rigid thing like customer service or product uploads or whatever. Like you can set the rules.
Yeah. But I don't think it's a bad idea if you're kind of stuck to kind of map out exactly
Yeah,
what
you
you're
can
going
map
to
it
need.
out. You can interview people. You don't have to start paying them or hire them if you're
No.
scared to do that right now. But you can at least take those steps while things are more
Yeah.
quiet.
Like a drill,
And
like a fire drill. You're running like a fire drill for your store.
Yeah.
Um, so the other thing, and this could be a fun one, is to scope out new industries and make supplier lists. Because when you're in the process of running a store and your store is making sales and you're kind of in the thick of things, you're managing the employees, or sometimes when a store is doing well, you're not thinking about how to expand that store. And so if you are in a situation where your store is not doing so hot, you could start thinking about different ways you could be diversifying. So in case something like this happens again, or just to even be less,
Mhm.
be more diversified and be able to keep sales going despite world events, you could be mapping that out, or
Mhm.
not, or just coming up with different sub niches of the stuff you want to sell, because that stuff takes time. It takes research. And
Mhm. I think it's a really important thing. People underestimate how hard it is to find a really, really good niche.
yeah.
Because, I've heard someone say this, like, if you can find it in 15 minutes, so can someone else.
Yeah.
And so now you have multiple days of not working. If you're working a full-time job, this may be the only opportunity you have to actually spend even 2 days just doing nothing, 8 hours a day even, just looking through niches. And in our course, we outline sort of how to find these really hidden niches and how to actually like follow the trail to finding hidden products. But, even if you're just out by yourself, you can spend time scrolling through all different types of websites, scrolling through Google Shopping, and you'll find so many unknown suppliers and product types that like the time will be well worth it to
Yeah.
spend days doing it.
And that's the thing about it. I think you hit the nail on the head. Is it does come down to doing the legwork of spending those hours scrolling through different websites, scrolling through Google Shopping. You actually have to do the work on this. If you're expecting that you're going to type into YouTube the best supplier lists for high ticket dropshipping and be successful off of that, you're not. You actually have to put the work in and develop the understanding. And it's quiet time now, so could be a good time to do that.
And I'll expound on that one more layer deep. Even on these niche lists, people will there's niches probably on these lists that are great, they work, but you need to have the leverage to even be able to get into them and get the good suppliers. And so one of the ways, like we talked about before, to leverage getting good suppliers is to get other suppliers. And some of them are not very easy to find. So if you spend a couple days, you go through different product types, you have a huge list of suppliers that someone who looked for 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours may have not found. Now you can get in with some of them, and you can just slowly work your way through the entire niche, getting one supplier and then another and then another, and now you have three. So now that tough fourth one, they're going to have to let you in. Now you have four suppliers, and it just goes on and on and on. So it's really a snowball effect. People do not realize that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And listen, guys, if you want our help with this, buildassetsonline.com/asset for our course, buildassetsonline.com/membership to work with us one-on-one in our private Discord channel. And do you have anything else to add here, Mike? I think we came up with some 3 good activities, but it's you, the listener, and the watcher that has to go out and do it.
Do something.
Do something. All right.
Don't sit there watching us.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Watch us a little bit.
Just
Let them do
watch
good.
us and get out of here. Don't watch someone else after.
Yeah, watch us and then take it easy.